You feel like you have a lot of ideas to share, but when it's time to speak up, you might feel that you're blanking out. On the other hand, there are some people who just seem to know what to say and how to say it. And one of the best examples of such a speaker is Obama, arguably one of the greatest speakers of this century. And after hours of studying his communication style to know of how he motivates a crowd, articulates his points, and just makes them so pleasing to listen to, we're going to break down 3 articulation habits you can use in everyday conversations and how to improve your delivery style to handle difficult situations. Let's get into it. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Radeep from Frantically Speaking. We release communications content like this all the time, so hit subscribe for more videos like these. And if you're looking to take your communications journey to the next level, you can book a free consultation call with us to see how we can help. Now, the first point we're going to talk about is the framework you can utilize to articulate your thoughts more effectively. The problem we face in articulation is that even though we know what we have to say, because our thinking is not organized, our communication comes across in a very unstructured manner. And this especially happens when we're put on the spot and have to speak in a spontaneous setting. And that's where frameworks become really powerful. Think of them as templates that you can plug and play in different situations to speak in a flow. One such framework that Obama uses really well is called as ADS, ADS. It stands for advantages, disadvantages, and summary. To understand this in action, we need to know that the reason why we can't articulate sometimes is because when a question is asked, we tend to ramble on and on. We don't really know where to start, where to move next, and how to end. Hence, we come across as a lot less articulate. Instead, when you're asked a question, let's say you are asked your opinion on something, you want to start by talking about the advantages, then move on to the disadvantages, and then summarize the challenge. Watch how Obama does this in this clip.
Is potentially even more powerful than we originally imagined. Now, so my framework, and in conversations with government officials, private sector, academics, the framework I emerged from is that this is going to be a transformative technology. It's already, in all kinds of small ways, but very broadly, changing the shape of our economy. In some ways, even our search engines, basic stuff that we take for granted is already operating under some AI principles, but this is going to be turbocharged. It's going to impact how we make stuff, how we deliver services, how we get information, and the potential for us to have enormous medical breakthroughs, the potential for us to be able to provide individualized tutoring for kids in remote areas, the potential for us to solve some of our energy challenges and deal with greenhouse gases, that this could unlock amazing innovation, but that it can also do some harm. We can end up with powerful AI models in the hands of somebody in a basement who develops a new smallpox variant, or non-state actors who suddenly, because of a powerful AI tool, can hack into critical infrastructure. Or maybe less dramatically, AI, infiltrating the lives of our children in ways that we didn't intend. In some cases, the way social media has. So what that means then is that I think the government, as an expression of our democracy, needs to be aware of what's going on. Those who are developing these frontier systems need to be transparent.
And frameworks like these can be utilized in multiple situations. We're going to talk a little more about this at the end of the video. Now, more than using frameworks, we need to develop certain habits that will help us become articulate in our daily conversations as well. And the very first habit we want to incorporate is the use of analogies. Analogies help us to correlate a particular point with a story or something that the other person understands better, and hence makes our point come across as a lot easier to comprehend or digest. Watch how Obama does this.
We would never accept that out of our own kids behaving that way if they lost, right? I mean, if my daughters in any kind of competition pouted and then accused the other side of cheating when they lost, when there was no evidence of it, we'd scold them.
Now, analogies are also a great way to simplify complex matters. For example, if you're a software developer, you have to explain a technical concept to a person who does not have the same background as you. Analogies can really help. For example, if you need to explain what an API is to somebody who does not have a technical background, here's how you can use an analogy to do that. An API is like a waiter in a restaurant. When you sit down to eat, you look at a menu and you will tell the waiter what you want. They will go to the kitchen, tell the chef, and then the food will come out. We don't directly go in the kitchen and tell them what to make. So in this case, you are the user of a particular tool or software. The waiter is the API. He's the medium between you and the end result. The kitchen is the server where the actual processing happens, and the food is the end result that you see. Because just like how you don't need to know the inner workings of the kitchen, as a user, you also don't need to know the inner workings of a system. So APIs handle the communication and deliver the results to you. The second habit to incorporate is to become a more visual speaker. When we speak, the reason we sound inarticulate is because we are being vague. But when we use words that can help people visualize something, it just makes our points come across as a lot more effective. Watch how Obama describes this particular situation and see if you can visualize it.
I spent basically an entire evening with those families. It's the only time I ever saw a member of the Secret Service cry while on duty.
Right.
And then we came back.
Similarly, if you're talking at work and instead of just saying that the product demo went well, instead we can say, as the demo was progressing, you could see the client's face light up. The smile became bigger and bigger with every feature we showed. Now that communicates something much better as opposed to just saying, hey, the product demo went well. And the third habit is to use a rhetorical device called as antithesis. This basically means to draw contrast between two things that help us sound just a lot more effective using simple language.
Our foreign policy, that it is the United States of America, not the divided states of America.
In fact, even Martin Luther King Jr. in his speech, I Have a Dream, used this antithesis device very, very impactfully.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Now, if you remove the antithesis element from that, the line will just become, I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will live in a nation where they will be judged by the content of their character. It just misses that punch. Incorporating these 3 habits will help us not only sound a lot more articulate, but a little more impactful as opposed to just sounding like any other communicator. And finally, how do you improve your delivery style to handle difficult situations? God knows Obama has had to deal with a lot of hecklers in his life. But if you noticed, when he responds to hecklers, he very rarely raises his voice, and he deals with them quite strategically because of his tone of voice.
I told you that the civil rights of LGBT Americans is... Yeah, hold on a second. Okay, you know what? No. Hey. Yeah, listen. You're in my house. You're not going to get a good response from me by interrupting me like this. And when you ask them, what specifically is your... Sir, I'm here to speak to these folks. You can hold your own rally. Show. I'll be happy to read your book. If you want to give me your book, I'll be happy to read it, but don't interrupt my conversation with these folks. It doesn't make sense. So I'm sorry. What are you yelling about now? Sit down, guys. I'm almost done. Come on, sit down. I'll talk to you afterwards. I promise. All right. I'll bring it back. I'm wrapping things up here. I understand. So, see, everybody's going to start. I'm on your side, man. Sit down, guys. We'll talk about it later. I promise.
And that's how you can use frameworks, habits, and delivery styles to become just a little more articulate like Obama. Earlier in the video, I did mention that there are more frameworks you can utilize to organize your thinking effectively. We've created an entire video that explains different frameworks that you can use in different situations. Check it out right here.